This is a podcast presented by
Hard to Find Media.
Subscribe to Hard to Find Media on youtube.com/Hard to Find Media Network. This shit is free. Share it. Blast it.
Whatever it is, I can handle it.
You're the one always telling me I need to find my destiny. Well, one thing's for certain, it's not here in Kansas.
You saved my life.
He's a rather extraordinary young man. Don't you think?
Hello and welcome to Smallville Freaks, a podcast 15 years too late. I am Mike Pelly, joined by
Jason Lamb.
He got me on that one. A quick disclaimer, we played the Smallville drinking game before this episode. So forgive us if we're a little slurry, but we're excited to talk about the episode 5 of Smallville season 1 called Cool.
Cool.
Pretty
Cool, bro.
It's a cool thing. Dude, Iceman.
Yeah, he was basically Smallville's Iceman.
Yeah. I mean, but like super evil Iceman that will, I guess, freeze to death if he's not warmed by a human body.
Yeah. The episode starts with a high school party.
Yes.
Which I was talking about, like the high school parties that I had, where I grew up in like a suburb of San Diego, and but at the time in my city we had like cow farms and shit like that were out in the middle of nowhere.
Because it's a party in like the forest,
right?
Like,
yeah,
well, at like a lake. It's at a lake, but
yeah,
you know,
totally.
Yeah,
and you know, I had like shows we would do, like high school bands in barns and shit like that.
Yeah.
So that reminded me of it. But it starts out with him somehow almost drowning.
So here's the questionable part. All right, he's the freak of the week, Iceman, and he's drowning in this lake because he went out to get a football on a frozen lake and he falls through. And I guess there's like kryptonite at the bottom of the lake, which is what affects him. Like in the last episode, we didn't even talk about like the fact that the girl shape shifts. She has kryptonite in her body, but it never actually shows that happen. In this, it's also very, very like questionable.
Yeah,
like,
I don't remember them actually showing like how he gets the powers.
Yeah,
at all.
it shows kryptonite rocks at the bottom of the lake when he's drowning.
That's what it was. Yeah,
but okay, great, wonderful. There's kryptonite at the bottom of the lake, so it turns him into a weird Iceman that can turn fire into whatever.
Right.
I don't care. It's stupid.
What do you think it did to the fish? If there's kryptonite in the bottom of the lake, it
I
must
don't
have
know.
like
The fish should be like super powered or something.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense, but whatever. He becomes an Iceman, a creep. He starts stalking like old girlfriends and shit to get their body warmth.
Yeah,
and it's very strange. But there's a few things in this episode that I really, really want to point out besides Iceman, because to me he's the most boring part.
And this isn't the drama, right? This is
no. We're just doing overview right now. But the drama segment is heavy.
It's juicy.
So I'm gonna get through the overview real quick. There's a part in the beginning of the episode where Clark catches a Pop-Tart that comes out of the toaster.
Yeah, with his super speed.
Yeah, and it's like the darndest, cutest thing I've ever seen in the show.
Yeah,
he is just like so wonderful in that shot. And he's just like, oh, I forgot my Pop-Tart. I gotta go. Very, very, very adorable. Lex is popping over to the farm. We got to add him as a drinking game segment because he is just popping over the farm like it's nobody's business. In this episode, it's just drilled in the fact that Lex is obsessed with Clark saving him. He's like, I gotta save their farm. They're having financial troubles. Like, I gotta save them.
Right.
And so he's trying to repay basically Clark by helping out the family.
You know, Jonathan is distrusting of the Luthors, and he transfers that over to Lex. You know,
because
it's a common theme throughout their relationship.
And Lex is he's really trying to repay the favor of Clark saving him, but Jonathan just doesn't get that, and he's just like, nope, your family is just a bunch of crooks, and there's that. So so they're not on the best of terms, and then also this is the first episode where the Talon coffee shop appears.
Right, where they actually show the exterior and like what it's called.
Exactly.
It's the Talon.
Exactly. And this, since we've seen the show before, we know that the Talon Cafe is like a fucking character of the show moving forward. Just as much as the hospital becomes one, but we'll get there when that happens.
It's basically the Bronze from Buffy.
Yes.
Like they have like the teen hangout where they're like questionably serving beverages to people who are underage. And you're just like, I don't know what's in those plastic cups.
Yeah, exactly. So that, I mean, like that's the gist of it, but the main stuff is in the drama segment, which we're going to move right to. Okay?
All right,
here we go.
Drama.
Trust me, you don't want to know me the way you think you do.
Clark, that's my decision to make.
So Clark, obviously, still jealous of Whitney and Lana. Like, he wants to be with Lana. He's very jealous.
Right.
There's a lot of shots of like them talking of Lana and Whitney like talking or whatever, and it just goes to Clark and he's just like boobity boo, my little boo boo and my boo, and he he's just brooding, and that, you know, spoiler alert, drinking game. Spoiler alert!
Spoilers.
Drinking game.
Drinking. It's gonna happen.
And here's the thing: this is a Chloe-centric episode, and it's mainly driven from the fact that this guy, Iceman, before he becomes Iceman, he shows an interest in Chloe and like gets her number and all that, and she's all smiles. She's all smiles. She's actually too many smiles later.
Also, she writes her number on his hand, which is like, when was the last time you did that?
I don't know.
You know, like when you didn't just like pull out your smartphone and just
seems
put
like
their
a
number
thing
in.
from like the 50s.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, let me write
it's
this
gonna
on
just
your
wipe
hand.
off real quick, but Chloe is charmed by the jock kid who becomes Iceman. His name is Sean. A little piece of shit. But it's really like kind of about Chloe is talking to Clark a lot during it, and like also like at the same time being like, Clark, aren't you jealous? Clark, aren't you jealous? I'm getting asked out on a date.
Right.
You're brooding about Lana, but check me out. But at the same time, it's delivering that message that Chloe's like pretty much into Clark. It's sort of driving that home a little bit.
Yeah.
And
no, she is, and she's just like, no, go for it, and like trying to be cool with it.
yeah, she's trying to be very nonchalant. But here's the real thing that kind of spearheads the drama of the episode. Besides Chloe's whole scenario, Whitney forgot about Metropolis Vacay.
I know.
Lana.
So sad.
She was so excited about it. She's like, I'm thinking of things we're gonna do.
Yeah.
And he's just like, oh, well, me and the guys like are gonna go fucking.
They were watching the fight on pay-per-view.
We ordered it on pay-per-view. We gotta go watch that.
You've got to.
It's a pay-per-view. I'm sorry, we gotta cancel the Metropolis trip. Which, by the way, becomes a plus for Lana because Lex is trying to be like, hey, Lana. Like, Lex is popping another Talon now and talking to Lana. And he's just like, you know, Clark's better. Clark is better.
Clark is just better.
He doesn't talk like that.
But no, like Lex pops in and he like is again. We've seen this in every single episode where like he's basically talking shit on Whitney.
Yes,
to like boost Clark up in her eyes.
Yeah, because this whole episode is just like Lex is just trying to really like repay Clark in all sorts of ways, money, drama, all that stuff.
Oh, how about when the first time Lex shows up in the episode, Martha almost chainsaws him because she doesn't see him.
Yeah,
I feel like that's worthy of the drama where like you like wonder is like, was this on purpose? Like, did she really not notice, you know?
I don't think she knew he was there, but like that has to do with him popping in. But Lex is just trying to hook it up at this point for Clark.
Yeah.
And so Clark gets tickets to Radiohead.
Radiohead
Gets
very popular at
Radiohead
the time.
tickets. At the time, Radiohead is still very popular, sir.
Yeah.
Radiohead is
I
probably
feel like, you know,
the most popular band they have ever mentioned on this show.
But it's also at that point, it's like it's high school. Like that was my senior year in
True.
high school, and like I feel like Radiohead, especially after like OK Computer, and Kid A, like that was the shit at the time.
Absolutely.
Like, it's not in the same regard. Like definitely they're popular, but yeah.
So Lex offers tickets to Clark to see Radiohead and to take a limo from Smallville to Metropolis, which who knows how long that drive is. It's not clear. It's very unclear.
Right.
It seems like it'd be really long, but like they make it seem like it's not a big deal.
Yeah, how long were they in that limo that Lex gave them?
Not long, because so Clark asks Lana to go to the Radiohead show, and because Whitney blew her off, so she says, "Sure, let's do it."
Right.
He's like, "We're just friends,
Just friends.
just friends." It's
Always just friends.
always just friends. And so they're going, they're having a wonderful time. They're like, "Ooh, I like you so much with your eyes," and then all of a sudden, trouble at home. They turn on the news in the limo. And there's trouble back at Smallville where the Iceman is just freezing people and all that.
Yeah, the Iceman cometh.
Yes, but the main thing as far as the drama goes is Clark and Lana pretty much had a somewhat of a date. And when
Right.
it ends, Clark says, "This has been the best non-date I have ever had."
They were in a car ride for probably like 30 minutes.
Yes.
And it's just like, this is the best.
No, Clark said that.
Yeah.
She was just like, "What the fuck?" She's like, "What the hell? Where are you going?" Like, he's like, "I have to go save." So anyway, that's most of the drama of this episode. It was very date centric. Even
Yeah.
Pete, it shows him
Pete
on
had
a
a
date.
date. Yeah.
And like since they skipped out on the limo, they're like, "Hey Pete, you and your date can go take the limo," and they're like, "Tight." Pretty funny. So let's move on to the drinking game.
The drinking game.
The party can officially begin. The Luthors are here.
So, Lamb, how many hospital scenes were in the episode?
0.
Not there yet.
Not yet. I'm almost like, why do we have this one in here?
I know.
It
but
happens
we
so
gotta
much.
Wait. We gotta wait.
All right.
I mean, we had a lot of drinks this episode, but what about whenever someone says son or father?
That was a total of 8 in this episode.
I think that was
the heaviest drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely screwed us over. Chloe cries.
We were drinking beer, by the way, and the swigs were. I mean, like we don't want to. If we took 8 shots, hearing people say the words son and father, we would be pretty blitzed at the moment.
Again, this is like, sip your wine, sip your
Sip
beer.
your wine, yeah, exactly.
Watch
the show with some class.
But don't,
Come on.
Yeah, don't just take shots. All right, so Chloe cries. That happens twice.
Oh.
Once, which you mentioned makes you feel dirty. She cries when Iceman freezes her leg in the Smallville swimming pool.
It's like a painful cry.
But she still cries, and I think that counts.
It doesn't make it feel dirty. It just makes it feel like it's like, why am I drinking to someone's pain?
Right. And also when she's lamenting a girl that Iceman absorbed all of her heat from.
Right. That's true. So again,
that's
pain.
Right.
It's not emotional crying, which is really what the basis of the drinking game is, but whatever. She cried.
Oh, so actually, no, since that was twice, that the final count is actually 18.
Like the full of everything?
Yeah.
18? Jesus.
All right. So,
Okay.
shirtless Clark, none.
Didn't happen.
Glass shattering,
Sure.
once.
Absolutely.
One time when Whitney crashes his truck.
Uh-huh. It's always a truck.
Foreshadowing, or an interesting reference to the comics. There's that happens twice.
Okay.
But the one time I like to point out is that Clark gets fashion advice from Chloe and then wears a purple shirt, which is Lex's signature.
Oh, so it's like a little. That's a deep cut too.
I would say that is
That's a nerd.
that's a throwback
fucking
for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on from that, Luthor cocktails once when Luthor
Oh.
is trying to sell Jonathan.
Yes, I agree. There is that shot, but I just realized there's two more where he offers 2 drinks to the Kents.
But that's the same scene. That's where I count it. That's where I draw the line.
Yeah, as one.
Otherwise, we're up to 20.
Because I was about to say we have to take 2 drinks right now. 'Cause
Yeah,
we
no.
forgot to note
That,
that. Okay. Moving. So the cocktails, and then what about Lion Clark?
No Lion Clark this time.
Nothing.
No. Again, he's a goody two shoes, and he finds a way to avoid having to lie about it. Clark brooding.
Ooh,
2.
of course.
Yeah.
Can't really get away with that. You can't get away from that. I mean, last episode he didn't really brood, but it's really coming in strong, I'm sure.
Lana brings up her parents. Not at all this episode,
Really?
but probably because the last episode was so heavily centered around her parents
That
and her
makes
mom
sense.
specifically.
You gotta take a little breather from that. Or forever breather if it was up to me, but whatever.
She eventually leaves the show, so
Yeah. Oh my God, spoiler alert.
someone says abilities. That didn't happen.
Nope.
And Clark shows up out of nowhere twice.
Of course.
He like always knows
He just knows
exactly where to be. He has like zero evidence.
You could technically chalk it down to super hearing, but
but they don't show that. He doesn't have it yet.
They don't. Yeah, it's like he's showing up out of fucking nowhere. Is what's happening.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the drinking game. That is what got the tally was 18. That's what got me and Jason a little silly tonight.
Right.
But watch the episode. You want to get as silly as we got? Do it. Moving on to the geek lore.
Geek lore.
This is Smallville. Meteor freaks, alien ships, cryptic symbols. Someone has to protect the world.
This one's real light, I have to say. There was one reference in the beginning to like Clark not being cold, where Chloe asks him, like, what did you grow up on an ice planet?
Right.
And
reference to
that's basically referencing the Christopher Reeve,
Fortress of
Richard
Solitude.
Donner, Fortress of Solitude.
Which I don't want to spoil anything, but I feel like if you're listening to this podcast, you've probably seen this show. If you haven't seen the show before and you're listening to this podcast, that's so weird.
Or if you haven't seen fucking the Richard Donner Superman, go see that shit.
Yeah. Exactly. Then you know exactly what we're talking about. But ice fortress stuff happens in this show as well. So it's definitely foreshadowing in that regard as far as the drinking game and the geek lore that we're talking about here. So real quick, Jason, the ice stuff in the comics, it's the Fortress of Solitude is kind of more not an underground lair. It's still in the Arctic, right?
Yeah.
It's just not a crystal place, really.
No, it's not crystals, but it's sort of crystals. I mean, they do that in the show eventually, where like everything is grown out of like crystal technology, and he's got like crystals that he puts in to like simulate his father and all this shit. Like,
but in the Superman lore, in the comic books, like it's always the Arctic.
Yeah, always.
Okay,
for sure.
Well, that makes sense. The ice planet stuff, like, it's very much tied into the lore. It's not just the Christopher Reeve stuff, but
right.
The Christopher Reeve movie, I keep saying Christopher Reeve, the Richard Donner film, made it into like crystals, like literal crystals.
Yeah, I'm not clear on whether or not the crystal thing and the Arctic was introduced before or after the movie,
right.
But definitely since the movie, that has always been his Fortress of Solitude is in the Arctic.
Right, that makes sense. Well, so that's the only one there on the geek lore. Do you want to go ahead and go to Crew Spotlight?
All right, time to do Crew Spotlight.
To help create the look of the show, to tell the story visually.
So in this one, we're going to talk about the main film editor, which I think is a very underrated job.
Right.
Like one that totally gets overlooked, but really everything is in the editing. Everything is sold in how you present and project and pace your films and your episodes, whatnot. So this guy, Stephen Mark, did a ton of shit. Like he's a Vancouver alum, as we were saying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's been around the block a few times. Where he did, let's see, the guy's done Alien Nation, which is from the 80s. I don't know if you've seen that show. Go watch it. It's incredible. It's a buddy cop show with an alien partner.
Oh shit. I like that.
He did 25 episodes of The X-Files. He did 8 episodes of Millennium.
Jesus.
He did Roswell, Jim Cameron's Dark Angel. He did 6 episodes of Smallville, Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey. That was like 5 episodes.
Dinotopia, 14 episodes of Deadwood.
Ugh,
Masters
Jesus.
of Science Fiction, which is parallels the Masters of Horror, which we mentioned in the last episode. Defiance, more recently for Sci-Fi. Black Sails, which is insanely popular right now.
Right.
Hell on Wheels. Like, this guy has like done so much, is like super prolific in his film editing.
In the Vancouver community as well.
Yeah, totally.
He's like part of Vancouver fame as far as the TV shows are.
The Couve.
Yeah, he's part of the Couve. He's in the Couve.
He's in the Couve. You got to get in the Couve. All right, so that concludes the crew spotlight for this episode. I'm sure there were many more people we could talk about, but I think that guy is definitely super prolific.
He's worth noting.
Yeah.
And you know, as we move forward with episodes, like, I mean, I don't know. I think it's a really good idea to just go ahead and just give someone a spotlight, you know, that's worked on the show, because in our opinion, Smallville paved the way for a lot of the shows that are popular right now, like Flash and Arrow and all that stuff.
Yep.
So it's really cool to see how some of these people that worked on Smallville connects to what we're, you know, what's successful today on the CW.
Right.
So that's always pretty cool. Right on. Well, thank you for joining us again. Jason, where can people find you on social media?
Instagram, JTL_hell, and Twitter at Jason_Lamb.
Word. You can find me at Mike Pelly on all social media platforms.
Mike with a Y.
It's with a Y. Oh, I never mentioned that. Not like anyone gives a fuck about this show, but whatever. Yeah, Mike with a Y. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We're gonna go ahead and pop over to episode 6 next week, and keep drinking tonight. So have a wonderful time with yourself.
Bye.
This has been a podcast presented by
Hard to Find Media.
Subscribe to Hard to Find Media on YouTube.com/Hard to Find Media Network. This shit is free. Share it.